fever, we have successfully conducted 28 sessions, more than 50 plus sessions for all of these 28 days as a part of February fever. So we'll be having a closing note of that, and followed by that we'll be having Satya's session. Satyanarayan Srinivasan, he is a very good speaker. He has already given sessions on SSAS, SSRS. Today his session is on cloud computing, Salesforce. My session will be covering all the basics of ASP.NET AJAX, the AJAX components, how AJAX is contributing for developing rich internet applications, along with that providing very quicker response in developing dynamic applications, as well as at the end of the session, it will also be with a demo. In the demo, I'll be covering how actually AJAX is invoking all the objects and methods. It is a very short demo. I'll be showing the differences between an AJAX request and a normal postback request. For AJAX is very much the JavaScript XML is very much interlinked, or these are the core concepts for AJAX. The acronym for AJAX is asynchronous JavaScript and XML. So JavaScript is nothing but a very simple programming language, and JavaScript was developed years ago itself. But AJAX is an approach or a pattern, or it is a technology. People say that it's a technology which has been developed for handling huge applications. And this AJAX basically gained its prominence when the applications were running only with object-oriented programming. Like all the web pages that were developed previously were mostly concentrating on OOPS concept and other things. So these OOPS concepts, like when we build the applications only with OOPS concept as well as the server request, the load on the web pages was very huge, and it was like overkilling the web pages as well as not providing improper response. So in such a scenario, this AJAX came into existence, and it gained its prominence because we all are aware of its advantages, like its application areas and everything. So I always had this doubt, like AJAX, it is an approach, or it is a pattern, or it is a technology. In my concern, AJAX is nothing but it is the combination of all the technologies. So here AJAX, it is an approach or pattern to the web development that uses client-side scripting to exchange data with the web server. And using AJAX, all the it helps the pages to update dynamically. So this is a very normal interview question. When someone asks what is AJAX, we will say that it's partial page refresh. You need not submit the entire page, or entire page need not be posted to the server. So that is the usual definition we will say, and the partial page refresh is what we know about it. So it will update the page dynamically without causing a full page refresh. So because of this, the interaction between the user and the application, it will be uninterrupted, because whenever a request is posted, only that particular request is served, and or that particular control is updated. We can consider this approach, it is to be a technology rather than a pattern, because however it is a combination of various technologies, like it is combination of JavaScript, XML as well as document object model, which we will be seeing in the next slide, like what are all the technologies that are contributing for achieving this AJAX technology. So what are the components? The main pillars for AJAX programming are we have JavaScript and the document object model, the cascades, style and XML HTTP request. So every static page that is rendered from the rendered to the client is a combination of HTML with CSS. So like whenever we normally see a web page or the static page that is rendered, irrespective of the processing, what all it happens. So from the IIS end, a normal page with HTML as well as CSS is rendered to the end user. So the underlying technology with AJAX is these four pillars contribute for achieving us the partial page refresh functionality. So JavaScript, it is nothing but a scripting language, and of course we need to create the objects with respect to the browser using JavaScript. And because of its ease of implementation or ease of programming, JavaScript became very popular nowadays. And all the existing AJAX applications are built with this JavaScript. And DOM or document object model, this will define certain rules that should be followed. Like every request that is sent to the server, or every request that is posted back to the client, it should follow a proper document object model. That is organization of parent node and the child nodes, or the starting and the closing tags, everything. So what DOM is nothing but it defines the structure of a web page as a set of programmable objects that can be accessed through JavaScript. And coming to the CSS, CSS is nothing but visual appearance, like adding extra styles to our objects, like the way the object needs to be rendered to the web page, and other things like how the look and feel of a page should be. Everything will be decided with our cascading style sheets. And the XML HTTP request, this is the main component which serves the request, which carries the request to the server or gets the response to the client, and everything. So before going in depth into this, what actually the elements of the page. If you consider the elements of the page, these elements are nothing but the buttons, the text boxes, and other things. So using JavaScript, you can programmatically rename these elements of the page. You can add new elements to the page or delete the existing elements. And in addition to this, you can also perform certain browser specific actions, such as you can open a pop-up or a new window, and that is all what we can do with the JavaScript. We can open a new window, and like if you see the AJAX actions, we can do the client-side validations, and also we can perform some certain advanced user UI actions, such as floating menus and drag and drop, or the pop-up panels, everything. So that all functionality can be achieved through JavaScript. And the document object model, it is nothing but how these particular controls which are the JavaScript is accessing the controls that are properly organized in an object model. So JavaScript will be invoking all these controls, and the cascading style sheets are applied to those controls, and a proper request is organized, and this request is sent to the server. So looking into this, we'll be looking more into what the XML HTTP request is. The XML HTTP request, the main objective of XML HTTP request, it is to perform asynchronous requests to the server, as opposed to performing full page refresh or postback. So you need not do entire page refresh or postback to the server. Instead, partial request will be going from the client to the server. And this is just a representation of synchronous version. Whenever a user action is initiated, there will be HTTP request, and the request will be processed. So we are not bothering about how the processing will be going on and other things. So whenever there is a UI request, the HTTP request is sent, and the request is processed, and a static HTML or CSS will be rendered to the UI. And between the user interaction and rendering of this static page, there will be waiting between those. And again, for every user action, we know this waiting. However, everyone is familiar about how a normal traditional web application request will be. So the representation is it is a synchronous way, and all the HTTP requests will be served in a synchronous manner. Coming to the asynchronous representation of the same, how the asynchronous version of it will look like there will be a user interaction. User interaction to the browser will be continuous, it will be ongoing. But whenever there is a user interaction, or whenever the user tries to perform something, for example, beat a button click, then at that